Good morning, guys. Today is going to be a maintenance day because we're going to be doing quite a lot of things today, to be honest. I'm hoping we can finish everything by the end of today. But let me actually show you what we have in the butte and what we're going to be doing today. So what we have here is, first of all, we have these two gaskets, which are for the oil filter housing gaskets. These are common to leak. I'm not sure if mine is leaking. There's quite a lot of oil buildup there, but I don't know if it's from the oil filter housing gasket or not. So these are two genuine BMW gaskets we're going to be doing. Then also, obviously, we're going to change the oil and the oil filter down there. And also, while we're going to be replacing these two gaskets, there might be a lot of oil dripping down to the drive belt, and I can see it's pretty worn out. So we're going to be replacing this drive belt as well. And once I'm done with all of this, we're going to do a coolant change. I got this Bilstein coolant change, which is the correct coolant for my car, as well as some deionized water. So we're gonna do 50-50 mix, and then also I got an extra bottle just to do a coolant flush. I might do one flush with water just to get rid of everything, then deionized water, and then the third one would be the actual coolant. So yeah, we have quite a lot to do today. What I'm gonna do now is jack up the car, make sure it's up in the air. We're gonna start draining the oil, and while the oil is draining, we're gonna start undoing the oil filter housing gasket and replacing the gaskets, and then we'll go from there. So we have the car jacked up, but look at this. Look how much oil there's been leaking down the under tray. And if I show you what's underneath, this is just absolutely covered with oil. So before we put back the under tray, we'll obviously give it a clean. I got quite a lot of brake cleaner, which should hopefully do the job. But yeah, it's not looking very good. This kelp came to save the day because I can't seem to get this oil filter off. So he came and gave me this. So let's see if we can manage to get it off. Because I was using this stupid thing from AliExpress because I couldn't find the oil cap removal thing for the oil filter. So I'm gonna have to use this. So this oil cap seems to be very tight on for some reason. There shouldn't be, and I can't use this because the oil cooler is on the way. So before we drain the oil, I'm gonna remove the oil cooler, which we're gonna have to do anyway. But I really didn't want to do this now, but we're gonna have to do that now because there's gonna be a lot of oil spilling down. But yeah, let's remove this and then we can untighten this, hopefully. Okay, the coolant just came out and it seems to be a red coolant, which is not good at all because this car is supposed to be blue coolant. Oh well, we're gonna be changing the coolant anyway. So there's actually one more bolt at the bottom of the cooler that I missed. Okay, there it is. So now okay, all right, I thought there was gonna be more oil than that, but I guess most of it just came out. Okay, we'll leave the cooler for now and let's see if we can actually take this oil filter off. Okay, let's see. Ah, there you go. Oh my god. Okay, I'll just leave it open like that, and I'm gonna go underneath the car, drain the oil, and then we can carry on with these gaskets here because we do need to take the whole housing off as well. Oh my god, guys, look what I found. Silicone in the under tray. How many mysteries this car have. Anyway, here is the sump plug. It's a 17 mil. Why is everything so tight in this car? Okay. I mean, judging by the oil on my hand, it's not black. It looks quite fresh, which means that it could have been changed not too long ago, but you know, I wouldn't know, so it would be best if you change it. So while the oil is still draining, we're gonna take off the filter, which doesn't look okay, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like it's new. We're gonna take it off, put it to the side, and then take off the housing that goes to the block. Also the cooler, I can't seem to get this hose off, and I don't really want to break it because it's, you know, it's brittle, so I might just clean it off while it's still here. We'll see. But this one I'll definitely remove. It's just a clip here, and then this hose will come off, and then we can properly clean the whole oil filter housing. Okay, so the last bolt that we need to take off is this one down there, but it's very hard to get to. I don't know how people do it. Maybe I just don't have the right tools. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna be replacing the drive belt anyway, so I'll take that off and just drop down the alternator a bit. It's only held by these two there and these two, and then we'll drop it down, and then we'll have better access of removing the bolt there. So what I did was I took off the belt, as you can see, and as you remember, these two, and there was another two at the bottom, I only took these 4 bolts, and the alternator just moved away. I didn't have to remove the wiring and stuff. So now we can put the sockets through here and finally get to this bolt there, because this is taking too much work just for 1 bolt. But yeah, let's get it done. All right, that took unnecessary long. I had to take the intake manifold a little bit as well, because that bolt was just impossible to get out with the sockets I have, because they're too wide. But anyway, we got it off. Now the oil filter housing is pretty much loose. Then yeah, I'm gonna take it off, clean it, then we can put the gaskets back on. So this is how it looks like. We're gonna give this a good clean as well. Here's the actual oil filter housing. We're gonna give this a good clean as well. I also put the bolt on the sump so that it's not leaking anymore, because it was draining for like a good 45 minutes. So we're gonna clean all of this in this bucket. We're gonna replace the oil filter as well. So this is how it looks like, all cleaned up. It's not the best, but it's way better than what it used to be. So we're just gonna let it here dry up for a bit because of the brake cleaner. And in the meantime, we're gonna come here and clean up all of this. Oh my god, there's so much buildup down there. It's actually insane. We'll also clean up the cooler so it's nice and ready to go into the housing. And yeah, we're almost there, guys, almost there. So now that we have both this side and the actual housing all cleaned up, it's time to put on the new gaskets. And now we can go and put the housing back on. The camera just stopped for some reason, but all I've done is just bolted back on the housing, and I torqued them to 22 Newton meters. So now I'm just gonna put back the intake manifold so it's all nice and bolted in. We'll put back the alternator, and then we can start cleaning off all of this at the bottom. Now the alternator is back on, the cooler is back on, this hose is back on, and I've also put the new oil filter with the new gasket here and here. And now what's left to do is just put the filter back on, just like that. Also, I need to tighten the bolt for the sump, and then we can finally put some new fresh oil in there. As you can see, this drive belt is very perished all along the sides, so it's good that we're going to be replacing it as well. So I've just put everything back together, even the airbox, except that little piece that goes here on the front, and I also haven't put the screws in here for the airbox, but everything is plugged in. And I just want to start the car and see if we have any leaks, and also check the engine oil level, because I need to do it from the iDrive. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that I did the drive belt as well. As you can see, it's a brand new drive belt. Now regarding all of that oil around here, what I'm gonna do is actually spray some degreaser and take it to a car wash, because it's just impossible to clean with just a brake cleaner, and as well as everything underneath. so I'm gonna give it a good clean in a few days. But now let's start the car, because it's my first time ever doing this drive belt, and I'm hoping I put it correctly, because if I didn't, then that would be very catastrophic. So let's start the car now. Okay, it's in park. Okay, I mean, the car started. Okay, drive belt is running good. The car is also running good. Now the check engine light is due to the O2 sensors that I fixed in the previous video, but because I'm recording this after, that's why the check engine light is still there. Okay, so we got the low coolant level, which is because obviously we changed the gasket, so we did lose a little bit of coolant, and the time is already close to sunset, so we're gonna do the coolant change tomorrow. I just want to see if the oil level is any good, so we're gonna go to engine oil level. No measured value available. Update of engine oil level in process. Okay, we're gonna let the car warm up for a bit and then see where the level is at. Okay, a few seconds later, the engine oil level is at the max, and I've actually put 6 liters, even though it says the engine takes 6.3, I think it was. Can't remember, but I've only put 6 liters and it seems to be okay. And we're gonna end this video with the coolant change tomorrow, so I'll see you guys in a bit. So it's the next morning now, and I already have the car jacked up and it's all ready to go. So let me show you actually where the screw for the radiator is. So there's one right there, this blue one, and there's also another one here. I know that draining the coolant just from the radiator is not gonna be 100%. Maybe there'll be 30-40% left coolant still in the system, but unfortunately the block doesn't have a drain plug to drain all the coolant from the block, so we're just gonna have to repeat this process a few times. So first things first, we need to open the expansion tank so there's no pressure and the coolant can flow nicely, and then we're just gonna untighten this bleeding screw. As you can see, it's pink for some reason, and it's supposed to be blue, so we're just gonna let this drain and see how many liters we get. So once this is done draining, the next thing we're gonna do is put water in it. We're gonna run the bleeding process, so all the water goes everywhere and flushes everything, and then we're gonna drain it again. And then next time we'll do the same thing but with deionized water, and then we're gonna drain that again, and then the last time we'll just put 50-50 mix coolant and deionized water. So I put water in the car and I'm letting it run for like 10-15 minutes so it gets nice and warm, so all the water goes around the whole system, and then we're gonna drain it, and then we're gonna repeat the same process with the deionized water. And then the last time when we do the coolant, the 50-50 mix, 50% coolant and 50% deionized water, then we're gonna bleed the process using the water pump, but I'll show you how we can do that in a bit. I'm just gonna let it run for another 2-3 minutes and then turn it off and drain the water. As you can see, the coolant or the water that we just put in is a very light pinkish color. It's not as pink as the first time we drained it. So once we do one more flush with the deionized water, then it should be fully clear, and then the whole system should be clear as well, so we can put fresh new coolant in it. So I've actually flushed the car twice with water, not once, and now the third time will be the deionized water. So I'll put this 5 liters in. Hopefully it's gonna take all of it. Then we're gonna run the car again for 10-15 minutes and then drain it again, and then we can finally put some coolant in. Now the reason why I'm using deionized water for the last flush is because using this water, it prevents lime scale and all of that crap that can build up with water. So that's why we're using this, and also with the coolant mix we're gonna be using the same water as well. It looks identical as normal water, but it's deionized. So after 3 flushes, this is what the coolant looks like. It's pretty much just water, which is what we wanted. And the engine actually takes about 8.2 to 8.3 liters of coolant, and as you saw when we put the deionized water, it took the 5 liters. So I'm assuming there's about 3 liters left in the car, of deionized water right now. So what we're gonna do is put 4 liters of coolant, and then we're gonna top it up with a little bit more deionized water, so that'll be 50-50. It's time to put the coolant in. Need to be very careful because I don't want to spill any coolant. Look at this stuff. I think I said that this is supposed to be blue, but it's actually green, guys, not blue. Now that we've topped up everything, what's left to do is bleed the whole system. So we're gonna jump inside the car and I'll show you how we can do that. So make sure the cap is off from the coolant reservoir and put it on ignition, but don't start the car. Then make sure the settings are still as before. The temperature is at the highest and the fan speed, it doesn't matter, it could be a 1 or 6, it doesn't really matter. And now we're gonna press the pedal for 10 seconds, the gas pedal, and that will activate the water pump, and it'll run for about 10 minutes, and then the cooling will bleed itself. And now if you have a look, the system is bleeding itself. So once this stops bleeding, then we can obviously top it up a little bit, and then that's job done. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We did quite a lot of good stuff today. The oil change, the seals, now the coolant, and the car should be good to go for a long time now. Now I'm not sure what we're gonna do for the next video, but stay tuned for it, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.